Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. Hey y'all, what's going on, guys? And welcome back to another episode of Hidden Gems. If you don't know what Hidden Gems is, this is where we take about 3 to 5 minutes and talk about little hints, tips, and tricks to help you in your reselling business. If you guys hear my voice right now, I'm extremely sick, and I have no option but to keep working. I don't have any days off. I don't have sick leave or any sick days, so I have no option but to work. But for you guys, it's always worth it. My beautiful lady, Colette, she made me some tea, so big shout out to her. I love you, boo. I love you. Okay, so let's get right into it. Today on Hidden Gems, I want to talk about something that a lot of people may not think about when they're at the initial stages of their business, and that's diversification. And what is that? It's spreading the risk, looking at the market, and maybe pivoting your business into other markets as well. So, one of the major things why diversification is so important is because if you stay in one lane, you're really limiting your growth. If you're a vintage company and you're only selling vintage Nike windbreakers, it's hard because you're eventually saying only people who want vintage Nike windbreakers are going to be your audience. The vintage community is filled with hundreds of different type of categories that you can work with, whether it's vintage boots, vintage shoes, vintage belts, whatever it is. So one of the major things you always want to do is look at different markets and see how you can maybe pivot into those markets as well. This will then give you the opportunity to grow your business at a much broader scale. Because if you only focus on one small niche in your market, then you'll always be that, a small niche. But again, of course, this depends on what you want for your business. If you're okay limiting your growth and only staying in one particular market, there's nothing wrong with that. But the probability that you're going to be able to grow your business exponentially is extremely low. So one thing that we did at CLARENDONCO was we initially started doing vintage, then we pivoted over to the hypebeast market as well. We realized these two markets intersect and only made sense that we really try to accommodate in both markets. So that's one thing you guys want to do. Try to not limit yourself with only one market. And like what I was saying, it's able to open up more markets for yourself, right? So yes, you may have started in vintage, but then maybe you'll realize, hey, maybe I should also do used clothing as well. A lot of the times people have this misconception that as long as it's used, it's vintage, but that's not the case. For instance, a lot of people will end up buying clothing and maybe for a month they'll wear it and then toss it out. That is used clothing, something that's less than 15 years old, but it's not brand spanking new with tags or anything like that as well too, right? So being able to see different markets that you can work with is always extremely important. And if you take a look at it, think about brands like Tommy Hilfiger, for instance, right? They initially started out being a higher end men's brand, but later on they developed into what? The hip hop culture, right? They realized that a lot of people in that hip hop culture were really admiring their clothing, so they started to pivot their company to more cater that business. And that's what the most important thing is, guys. You want to cater your clientele. A lot of the times people start businesses because they have an affection for a particular product, which is amazing. It's extremely good. But if you're only focusing on what you want and on what your audience wants, it's extremely difficult to grow your business and to get the clientele. For us, one of our major things is to cater to the client's needs, and whatever issues they have, let's try and rectify them as soon as possible. So if we see a client needs vintage clothing, like a vintage windbreaker for instance, we're going to cater to that. If we see a client needs some off-white or Bape, we're going to cater to that, right? But again, guys, it all depends on what your company standards are. If you're okay with only selling one particular product, there's nothing wrong with that. But the likelihood of you growing is very slim. So a couple things just to revisit. Staying in one lane has the potential to limit your growth. If you pivot yourself into multiple areas, you're able to actually open up yourself to more markets. But again, it truly depends on what you want for your business and where you want to go. And just keep in mind that a lot of businesses, the way they start isn't necessarily the way they ended. Just like we talked about Tommy Hilfiger. Look at Supreme, for instance. Supreme is a perfect example. Supreme started as a skateboard brand, but now they do collaborations with everyone. They just recently dropped a collaboration with the North Face, which is not even close to skateboarding. They're an outdoor brand. They do collaborations with Nike. They do collaborations with luxury brands like Louis Vuitton as well too, right? So always keep that in mind. Whatever the big guys are doing, us small guys, let's make attempts to do those same things as well too, right? Alright guys, thank you so much for checking in again for hidden gems. Let me know what you guys think. Should you only focus on what you want to sell, or should you focus on your audience? Please hit us in the DM or the comments. Until next time, peace.